Yo, what's going on, guys? It's great to have you here. For those of you that haven't noticed yet, this is actually going to be my new little side channel. So welcome to Jamari Raw, where I'm going to be putting out these videos that pretty much have very limited editing. I mean, they're still going to be cut up and stuff like that, so you can still enjoy it like as a viewer and get the most out of your time. There's just really not going to be a lot of graphics and background music and the usual stuff that I do over on the Jamari channel. And I'm also going to be talking about topics that I probably wouldn't talk about on my main channel anyways over here on Jamari Raw. So y'all make sure you subscribe, guys. I really want another 100,000 subscriber plaque so bad. I mean, not as bad as I want my million subscriber plaque for Jamari, but it's pretty close. So yeah, guys, please make sure you subscribe to this new channel so we can really get it off the ground. And so today, guys, I'm actually here to talk about Netflix. Okay, they've been kind of a big story on the stock market recently, and not for good reason, guys. Okay, Netflix stock is going way down. In their latest quarterly report, they actually revealed that they had lost over 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter of this year, and that they estimated they were going to lose 2 million more by the end of the year. So basically, this forced Netflix to take a massive hit on the stock market. Okay, the biggest hit they've seen since like 2004. I'm talking about droppage in percentage. And right now, it's just really not looking good for them. Okay, even on my like Robinhood app, when I went to check them out, before I could even see the stock, it sent me like this be cautious message like, oh, don't self-delete yourself because the cost of Netflix has gone down so much and you've lost so much potentially on your investment. This also apparently sent a ripple effect throughout the industry, and all the other streaming service affiliated companies are also taking hits during this time.
Let's show the chart here. Yes, Netflix
Oh,
down
damn.
Yikes.
more than 35%
They in
after
the
the
gutter,
streaming
baby.
giant's first quarterly subscriber loss in more than a decade. We're going to get into those numbers in just a bit, but let's also look at some of the other streaming stocks because what do you make of this, Brian? Disney down,
Yep.
Roku down.
Well, yeah, that's how stocks move. Okay, anyone affiliated is going to go down a little bit. And also recently, the stock market has been so red. I mean, this is just normal shit you're seeing every single day. Okay, stocks losing a couple percentage points. You know, it's getting sad out here, guys. But if you have some extra money, you know, it is a great time to invest. I'm not saying into Netflix, but into some of these other stocks.
Even though some people may have read Netflix earnings and said what might be Netflix's loss is other streaming services gain, not so the case. So maybe some investor interpretation of this could be the pie is just getting smaller for some of these streamers.
Well,
I mean, the pie is definitely getting smaller for Netflix, right? And obviously in the short term, you know, with the effect on the stock price, this is going to be bad for all these other services. But don't think that the competition, aka all these big companies like Disney and Amazon and HBO, don't think they're not trying to like eat Netflix away out of the competition, okay? Everyone thought Netflix had this type of grip on the streaming services, and they really just didn't. You know, at the end of the day, consumers are very fickle with their money, and pretty much whoever's offering the most is what people are going to be loyal with their dollar. Having a good reputation, doing right by people for years, being the first in the industry, all this stuff really doesn't mean shit in 2022. And y'all have to understand that Netflix was really like the first premier streaming service that actually worked very well. So maybe in a lot of ways, this type of thing was bound to happen as more competition poured in. Personally, I think Netflix has been focusing way too much on their original content. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand that they were tired of being the middleman. I understand that they wanted their own intellectual property that they actually owned, you know, in perpetuity. But that was just being shoved in the consumer's face so much. And after a while, you're like, I'm tired of this cookie cutter Netflix style of film. For example, a show like Euphoria, you know, super hyped, super popular. That show would never fly on Netflix, okay? Netflix does not keep it real about, you know, real life shit like that. And that's one of the many reasons that I feel like they pretty much have fucked their bag.
that it might be time to crack down on password sharing. Take a listen.
Fuck no.
We're working on how to monetize sharing. You know, we've been thinking about that for a couple of years, but, you know, when we were growing fast, it wasn't the high priority to work on. And now we're working super hard on it. And, you know, remember, these are over 100 million households that already are choosing to view Netflix. They love the service. We just got to get paid, you know, at some degree for them.
Dude, honestly, that whole idea is stupid. Like, if you're trying to charge every single person who uses the account, it kind of just defeats the purpose. If I'm buying an upgraded account for the purpose of watching on multiple devices, I don't give a fuck if they live in Japan. I don't give a fuck if one lives in Texas. Who gives a shit? They should all be able to use the same Netflix, okay? That's why I'm paying the premium price. That's why there's the option to make multiple profiles. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Down more than 30%. Is there a bit of an overreaction happening?
Look, I think what you're seeing here is there was an expectation on Wall Street that they would add somewhere in the ballpark of 4.5 to 5 million paid members in the first half of this year.
Ooh.
A lot of the data out there, app download data as an example, seem to point to probably a better number. And I think what we got here was a significant disappointment.
The letter made it very clear that competition was a big reason behind some of the subscriber numbers that we saw in that quarter. But is the street right to be reacting the way it is with regards to that possible perspective?
The street?
Well, I think if you tease apart what they talked about as the reasons for the miss or the pressure in the first half of the year, some of it was macro related. So spillover out of Russia, continued macro weakness in Latin America. Some of this is industry related, and that is competition. And some of this is Netflix specific, right? You had price increases in the US and Canada. You've got price increases in the UK and Ireland. You've also got a company that has much higher penetration in some of the more mature markets, certainly when you include password sharing. And so really, if you boil it back to the industry, the competition thesis, I think is interesting. Again, Netflix has the highest share and the most to lose here from some of the new emerging competitors here.
All right, so this is a pretty good comparison, okay? You're paying about $10 a month for basic Netflix, which honestly sucks, okay? You can only watch on one device at one time. You're watching in like 720p. I mean, honestly, personally, just as a consumer, I would much rather have something like HBO Max. I mean, to me, Netflix has become like Weenie Hut Jr. in this shit. I mean, I might even rather have fucking Disney Plus. Fuck it. All these other streaming services besides HBO, which I would say offers the most, are cheaper than Netflix at this point. I mean, let's be honest, no one's out here watching Prime Video. I mean, yeah, $20 a month is just way too much for what Netflix is offering at this point with their catalog. Eventually, they're gonna get stripped to damn near nothing.
But again, some of these issues are Netflix specific, and some of these issues are macro. Russia, Latin America, again, I think others will have to deal with that, but most of their competitors really don't have the same geographic footprint or exposure, at least not yet, that Netflix has.
It's an interesting point.
Matthew, do you buy this argument that we've heard from Reed Hastings over and over about this COVID noise that has sort of clouded where the company really is? I mean, if you think about where the stock is, it's certainly below where it was trading at in March of 2020 before the lockdowns, but the past 2 years have been incredible growth, and Netflix in many ways kind of warned about the pull forward.
So I guess what Netflix is trying to say, like, oh, in our defense, during COVID time, the numbers were obviously going to be inflated with people having to spend so much time indoors and looking for stuff to, occupy their time, entertain them. So now it's like, oh, we're just kind of seeing the pullback from the COVID era. I don't know. I do think it is a combination of things, but I think Netflix is just going to get rammed from here on out. I mean, don't think this doesn't have to do with like TikTok and YouTube as well, because they're taking a lot of viewers away from these streaming services every single day. I mean, people start watching YouTube and they get hooked. It's no secret. It's the same thing with TikTok. People, oh, I'm never going to get TikTok. It's a stupid ass app. Yeah, now every single adult, even 50, 60 years old has fucking TikTok on their phone. They bullshitting. People will bullshit you about something not being fun and not being cool until they actually try it themselves. And they're like, oh, I finally get all the hype, but they'll never admit that. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of just going off on a rant at this point, guys. This is what the Jamari Raw channel was really for. Just the ramblings of a madman. I hope you subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about Netflix stock. Let me know if you have recently unsubscribed from Netflix, if you are planning on giving it the axe. Currently I'm the one paying for my family's Netflix, and listen, I might have to break the news to them pretty soon that it's over. We're breaking up from that relationship. We're taking our dollars to Paramount Plus. I don't know where the fuck we're taking them. I'm getting charged for way too many of these services anyway, so fuck it. Let me know what y'all think down below. It's been your boy Jamari Raw. I'm out. Peace!